Okay, looks like we're rolling here. Hi everybody. My name is Dave. Hope you're having a great day. It is October the 3rd, Sunday, October 3rd on 2021. Uh, so, in my previous video, I had described myself as a person on a self-healing, self-help journey. And I outlined several strategies I was using on a daily basis to help me reframe some of my issues and push through the difficulties of getting my shit together. I indicated that I would be dropping further status reports, so in that spirit, here's how I'm doing this week. Overall, I feel things are still moving forward, sort of, for the most part. I did have some trouble, in particular, with my attempts to quit smoking. Minor setbacks overall, but I had some social opportunities that involved being around friends who still smoke, and I wound up indulging a bit. As of today, I'm doing mostly alright and have minimal stress about it. Two things I find helpful in this regard: practice mindfulness, that is, being able to engage metacognition to diffuse cravings or ignore them, and also a controlled environment. Environment always trumps willpower, so if you don't want to smoke cigarettes, don't have them around the house, particularly during that sort of delicate period where you're really trying to break the back of the habit. I've been doing a 10-minute Tai Chi routine every morning. I'm going to be increasing that soon. I take walks daily, pretty much. Now 95% of days I'm taking walks. I'm trying to take advantage of good weather if it's there to take advantage of. I also do about 10 minutes of weightlifting each morning now. I've been using the Headspace app over the last couple of days as part of a meditation practice, which I intend to make a daily habit of. So a good daily routine is taking shape. I have some short-term and midterm projects that I've been attending to as well. I have a to-do list, which I'm trying to cross things off of. I will say that I had a bit of a 2-day slump where less got done, and I was feeling less good about what was getting done. Once I sort of caught it and understood that I'd have to recommit starting the next day to some foundational practices, I felt better immediately. I also took a day off entirely to just sort of watch movies and television, relax, do some self-care, bathe and soak my feet, enjoy a nice meal. At the end of it, I found myself getting a bit anxious to dive back into a busier mode, but it was very much needed. So I think it's important to recognize that sometimes getting good rest is the best way to make forward progress towards your goals. You've got to sort of recharge your fun meter once in a while. Now, or at least I do. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But when I do manage to keep myself busy, I spend a lot of time reading and listening to lectures and podcasts on the internet. I've done a lot of reading over the past month or so about emotional health and brain change neuroscience. And I'm reviewing it repeatedly on an ongoing basis in an attempt to cement some mastery of the material, as well as to sort of brainwash myself with it. And at some point, I will need to address dietary concerns and start getting serious about weight loss. In the short term, I think I'm planning to focus on more exercise, adding some muscle mass, and quitting smoking. I did switch up my diet somewhat, cutting out red meat and most salt, most processed foods, increased fruits and vegetables, lots of fish, which I don't like too much, but it seems to be good brain food. I daily take vitamins and supplements to boost my immune system's health. I eat a lot of garlic too. Over the past month or so, I've heard of, developed, and or put into practice a number of quick little life hacks that I wanted to discuss with the remainder of this video. I'm not exactly sure in what order I should lay these out, but I guess I'll just dive in and trust you all can follow along. I thought this would be fun and informative, and might be the easiest way to help you guys relate to and maybe benefit from some of what I'm getting up to. So let's see. Number one, trick one is a little linguistic hack to engage metacognition. There's an adage in mental health and also in demonology for you occultists out there, that if you name it, you tame it. So if you feel rage, for example, you can say to yourself, I feel rage. And just putting that label on your feeling helps you get kind of a half headlock on it. But it gets better. You can name and tame yourself by referring to yourself in the third person. So here's how that works. Instead of my inner dialogue going, I feel sad, I feel lazy, I want a cigarette, when I remember to do this, it becomes Dave feels sad, Dave feels lazy, Dave wants a cigarette. This method of not identifying myself, whoever I am, with my thoughts means that my thoughts and feelings stop being bullies and kind of become friends instead. Friends that are alerting me to problems and imbalances and so forth. I'm getting gradually a bit more practiced at this, though sometimes I have to stop, slow down, and take a few deep breaths to kick my brain upstairs. But a neat practice, one I recommend experimenting with if you're so inclined. Number two, brain push-ups. Okay, so I've actually been doing this for a while, but I've started trying to do it pretty regularly. Lots has been said, written about meditation practices. Here's mine in a nutshell. I start by placing my attention on my breath. I take a breath, I take another one after that. At this point, I usually notice that my mind has wandered off to something else entirely. I try to let that go on for a little bit, then just sort of gently bring my attention back to my breath. Repeat often, no judgment, in an awareness that there's no way to do this badly, and that success consists of sticking with it and getting practice at it. This is building mental muscles to bring your attention back to the present in order to focus on what's important in the moment. Once this basic reflex is somewhat developed and ingrained, you can get serious about a mindfulness practice. Number three, I use a similar trick to slow down my brain or back it off of thinking about things I don't want to think about. This is particularly useful when teetering on the edge of psychosis or dealing with intrusive thoughts, I find. At some point I might do a whole video about this, but basically I put my awareness on my body. I ask myself, where do I itch? Turns out I'm always itching in 2 or 3 places at all times. So by bringing my awareness to it for a few, there's one right there. Okay. Yeah. By bringing my awareness to it for a few moments and then sitting with that feeling, I suddenly find that whatever was lighting up my brain 15 seconds ago is taking a back seat suddenly. Number 4, cold water shock. Now, you've maybe heard of Wim Hof the Iceman. I'm not there. I'm not going there. But he's an interesting fella. He's got some techniques and something going on. In the past few days, I've started dumping a mug full of cold tap water on the crown of my head. First thing in the morning. This wakes me up quick, seems to offer a good adrenaline shot, raises dopamine levels a bit, gets me serious about my day in a hurry. It sounds masochistic, but I've actually started looking forward to it a bit. I'm not sure if I'll stay with this practice, but it seems like an interesting tool to have handy for the days when getting started is a problem. So, number 5. I've been learning everything I can about the dopamine system and how it works. Much thanks to Andrew Huberman in particular for making his expertise available on YouTube. And please, by all means, look him up and watch his podcast. He's amazing. So there's a lot to cover there, but yeah, I do recommend finding out everything you can about it for yourself. Honestly, Huberman's knowledge is of a caliber that it sort of makes you wonder why it hasn't already changed the way we do, well, everything. It turns out, if you're enjoying life or not, motivated or not, depressed or not, that pretty much comes down to how much dopamine is in your system. So, knowing the science of managing that seems pretty much like money in the bank to me. From my limited understanding so far, I'd say one of the coolest things about dopamine is that you can set goals for yourself, achieve them, and the dopamine system will respond by making that seem worthwhile. So without lying to yourself, you can sort of game this process by setting your goals such that otherwise meaningless or onerous tasks are taking you further towards the goal of, say, being a new you. If you envision new you as someone who, by dint of training and conditioning, slays dragons and contends effortlessly with difficult tasks. So, but it gets better too. I mean, you could theoretically set an understanding and mastery of your own dopamine system as a personal development goal. Okay, now your dopamine system is turned on itself, and you will presumably find meaning, satisfaction, and happiness in being driven to understand how to achieve meaning, satisfaction, and happiness. That seems like win-win to me. Or am I describing a fast track to burnout and mental collapse? Perhaps some cautious moderation is called for here, but it's certainly something that I've taken a passionate interest in of late. So there'll be more on this in the future, I think. Okay, number 6. Being a big, ample fellow, I don't like exercising that much. I mean, I run out of steam pretty quick. But I used to swim competitively, and I recall the breathing trick, which I now use and find helpful. So it's 2 sharp inhales, 1 slow exhale. So yeah. 2 sharp inhales, 1 slow exhale. This raises alertness. It hyperoxygenates your body as well. Actually, it increases the amount of carbon dioxide you expel while exhaling. So if you do this for 60 seconds before a swim, you'll be able to hold your breath underwater for a surprising length of time. If you do this while jogging or walking briskly, you'll be amazed at your endurance. Okay, number 7. Here's a simple way to ward off psychosis, whether it's the intensely personal kind or the collective groupthink, crowd madness kind. And I think we all know someone in that position these days. So, as Stevie Wonder once said, when you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. That's the problem in a nutshell. If you're psychotic, it means your belief system is broken. So, to avoid going there, get good at taking your own thoughts, beliefs, and opinions less seriously. Condition yourself to hold stories lightly. A simple hack for this is to tell yourself you find it painful to catch yourself being too sure of something because you know that suffering will surely result. This is nicely encapsulated by the text of the Tao Te Ching, which in chapter 71 says, "To know and yet think we do not know is the highest attainment. Not to know and yet think we do know is a disease. It is simply by being pained at the thought of having this disease that we are preserved from it. The sage has not the disease. He knows the pain that would be inseparable from it, and therefore he does not have it. Okay. Moving on. Number 8. If, like me, you have a problem with irritating people, damaging your calm, and getting on your nerves, you can try the following framing suggested by Ram Dass. Practice turning those people into trees. Hear me out here. So we don't judge trees, or say, when we see a tree, we don't say to ourselves, good tree, bad tree, ugly tree. We just see that, this one leans that way, and this one leans the other way. This one got more sun on this one side, this one's got rougher bark, and so forth. So the idea here is, you practice turning people into trees, and perhaps you'll find yourself having an easier time not taking them not taking their crap personally, and not suppressing that reflex of sort of judgment to where we see someone and we immediately make assumptions about them. All right, number 9. Here's a quick life hack to make sure you say the wrong thing far less often. So the trick is to speak far less frequently. You'll be amazed how much listening gets done when you're not always trying to talk over other people. Oh, this is really hard for me, but we're working on it. And you'd be amazed what people tell you when they think you are really listening to them. So, all right, number 10, my last little bullet point for the day. You can improve your capacity for truth and truthfulness with this one simple trick. You stop thinking of truth as a thing or as a destination to arrive at. You want to think of it instead as a direction in which you orient yourself, outward facing, as it turns out. And this relates back to dopamine, believe it or not. To do this, just keep asking yourself continually if it's possible that you're full of shit. Maintain some dignity, but attempt humility. Learn the power of, I don't really know, and maybe. What this really is, when all is said and done, is training yourself in natural philosophy and a philosophical mindset. And I think maybe this is a little bit inflated or something, but I really throw it in here because I'm kind of of the opinion that if we all practice this, things would get better, immeasurably better, in very, very quickly. So, for all of us, we're a society of crazy know-it-alls right now, and that's not going to end well. So, in my opinion. Okay, so as I said, maybe that list got a little bit inflated towards the end there. Pick and choose the ones you like or think might be helpful. I'd be happy to hear from any of you about tricks, tips, and hacks that you're making use of to get through this thing called life. I intend to be back next week with another video. Thank you for checking in with me this week. I wish you all the best in life today and every day after that. Namaste. Be the change you want to see in the world. This is Dave signing off. Hope you have a great night. Bye-bye.